naughty girl. I'll pack my things soon as you say, baby.
It's ladies' night, what? It must be Angie on the mic. The butter pea, honey, got the shit.
If I could take you home,
Just stick eyes on me while I move my thing. Come on.
You hated Diddy at one point.
You said you
He
didn't
wasn't my
like, you
favorite
wasn't
person.
feeling it.
Plenty of people messed with him. I just chose to not because we didn't have the best relationship.
Because me and Mary have been friends for a really, really long time. Like, we started together. She's probably in this business of people I've met since I've been in this. She's probably my longest running friendship, my oldest friendship. Mary was already kind of popping. I got an eviction notice on my door. Ooh. Now I'm already on the radio. People know me already. I'm on the radio. I'm getting evicted from my apartments many years ago.
Wow. Do you remember how much your rent was?
I want to say it was $1,400 a month at that time.
3 years ago, car crash,
Yeah.
injury to your spine,
Yeah.
grueling rehabilitation, getting back. What did that experience
Changed my life.
change your life?
Let's talk about the voice of New York, Angie Martinez, a name that's basically synonymous with hip-hop royalty. This Puerto Rican-American powerhouse has worn more hats than your average music mogul. She's been a radio icon, a rapper,
In this show world, I'm a choosy girl, but we can dance to the dawn like Lucy Pearl.
a podcaster,
Angie Martinez in Real Life podcast. Chapter 1, We're All Gonna Die. Lauren London was the first person on my brain when I thought about having this podcast because of a couple of reasons. Number one, I think she's super dope. I think you're super dope. And also, I think there's a lot to learn from you. Are you weirded out by talking and doing interviews and sharing just what your life has been like?
and even an actress. But don't let her smooth transitions fool you. Her story is as layered as the beats she spent decades spinning.
First of all, this book, My Voice, is amazing.
Thank
Angie
you.
does not like compliments, okay? But this book is a testament
Dope book.
and a documentation of a classic career and classic stories, and I love it.
And Envy
Instant classic.
read the
you.
book, and he hasn't read a book in 15 years.
That alone is very exciting
Yes.
to me.
He read it. I'm gonna tell you why he read it. Because me and Angelique came in here one day and we was like, yo, fam, Angie smoked.
Angie Martinez, born on January 9th, 1971 in Brooklyn, New York, is a cultural icon whose journey from rebellious teen to influential media personality has inspired countless fans. With roots tracing back to Puerto Rico, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic, Martinez was raised in a lively, multicultural household by her single mother, moving between Brooklyn and Washington Heights. During her teenage years, she had her share of wild moments, skipping school, hanging out with friends, and soaking up the rhythms of the streets. Recognizing that her daughter was heading down a rocky path, her mother made a life-changing decision. She sent Martinez to live with her aunt in Miami, where her mother eventually relocated and took on the role of programming manager for the city's radio station, WPOW. This move proved pivotal for Martinez's future.
Well, you know, when you're a kid, your biggest role model is the person in front of you all day. And I grew up like in a house with just me and my mom. So she was my first point of reference for anything. I had that insight of just the other side of radio, even from a kid, just because I've always heard that from her. So then you mix my love for hip hop, because I was such a hip hop kid, obsessed. And then my also kind of comfort in the radio space. And I think that that's what were the beginnings, like were the seeds for my career.
That first internship happened not in New York, but in Miami.
I was hanging out in the handball courts, but I just was not into school. I was into music. I was into like hanging out, playing handball, anything tomboy. I was into clothes. I was into all of that except school. And so my mother found out eventually, and she was like, she shipped me to Miami. And then while I was there, I started interning at 16 for the radio station there. So my mother sent me to live with my aunt, then came down, and she got a job as music director at Power 96 Miami.
At just 15, Martinez broke into the world of radio when she landed an internship at Hot 97 in New York City, a station known for urban music and influential voices.
I just loved the music, and I got a job answering the phones, driving the street team vans. Eventually, they'd let me talk here and there.
It wasn't long before she became the protege of legendary DJ Funk Master Flex.
Ciroc Studios, we here. Let's go, Ern.
Absorbing the ins and outs of radio broadcasting like a sponge.
And Funkmaster Flex, who's one of our premier DJs, I used to run his board, and every now and then he'd let me talk with him on the radio, and it was like a huge deal for me.
By the late 1980s, she was co-hosting The Afternoon Drive, interviewing major artists like Jay-Z, DMX, and Mariah Carey, and building a name for herself in the industry. Despite occasional clashes with radio rival Wendy Williams, Martinez's charisma and talent kept her in the spotlight. After nearly 20 years, she left Hot 97 in 2014 and soon joined Power 105.1, continuing her reign as a top radio personality. That same year, Jay-Z signed her to a management deal with his Rock Nation label, solidifying her status as an influential figure in both radio and entertainment. Her accolades include winning the prestigious Marconi Radio Award for Major Market Personality of the Year in 2018 and being inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame in 2020.
I've been working, I got people, I care about the people I serve. I don't really care about awards, but I went to a school, a broadcasting school, black and brown kids in there. I look up at the wall.
Your mother was in radio as well.
My mom's in radio. I look up at the wall. It's all the Hall of Famers, and there ain't nobody up there that look like me.
Wow.
And that was the day I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not even about a piece of this for me in my house, which is nice. People come over, people salute you, people put it in front of your name, Radio Hall of Fame, and I'm like, that's nice. I appreciate it. But the dope is that when you go to a broadcasting school, there's a Puerto Rican girl up there on the wall. Right. You know, right. Bob Hope, Angie Martinez. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm humbled and I'm thankful for all the people who voted for me. I'm grateful for it. But I'm just saying that's changed something for me. When I used to not give about awards, it really did mean something for me to be in the Hall of Fame.
Beyond radio, Martinez is celebrated for her ventures into music. In 1996, hip-hop legend KRS-One encouraged her to try her hand at rapping, leading to her guest appearance on his track, Heartbeat. The momentum carried her to work with some of the biggest names in the game, including Lil' Kim on the 1997 remix of Not Tonight, a track that went platinum and peaked at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Is getting cream like Thelma and Louise, but on chrome. Never leave that Brooklyn
Her
shit alone.
debut album, Up Close and Personal, featured guest spots from Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, and Mary J. Blige, and showcased her versatility as an artist. Although it charted at number 32 on the Billboard 200, its impact was felt across urban radio. She followed up with Animal House in 2002.
Still so, can't be curious. That's how it is.
A more polished project that hit number 11 on the Billboard 200 and included the top 20 hit If I Could Go,
No cell, so no trace, and you just a phone call.
featuring Sicario and Lil Mo. Despite stepping back from music in 2003 to focus on her radio career, Martinez continued to leave her mark, appearing in videos
And I'm out in the space where nobody else can stay, and if I can go.
and collaborating with various artists. For nearly 30 years, Angie held court at New York's Hot 97, solidifying her status as the queen of urban radio. Then, in a plot twist worthy of a rap feud, she shocked fans in 2014 by jumping ship to rival station Power 105.1. Drama? Anyone? But her voice didn't just dominate the airwaves. She made waves as an artist, too. Remember Lil' Kim's Not Tonight remix? Angie's feature on that track turned heads, and she followed up with 2 albums, Up Close and Personal, and Animal House. Though she officially retired from music in 2003, Angie hasn't slowed down for a minute.
It wasn't like, now I'm going to be an artist. It wasn't that. It just was something that naturally just kind of started to happen. It felt like when I started in radio, how I didn't know what I was doing, but I was trying and I was learning everything, and I just jumped in and got in. And granted, making music was way harder for me. Being on the radio was something that kind of just was very natural. It was natural to my spirit. It was even though I worked hard, but it still was a natural kind of fit. Making music was way harder for me, which is probably why that period of my story was a lot shorter.
But don't think Angie's rise to fame was all smooth sailing. She had to survive rivalries, shady industry politics, and some jaw-dropping moments that she definitely didn't sign up for. Yes, you read that right. Angie Martinez once smoked crack, but don't call her a just yet. It happened during her wild teenage years at her grandmother's house when she was hanging out with a sketchy group of kids. Thinking she was just smoking weed, she unknowingly inhaled instead. It was an accident, Angie insists, and thankfully, it only happened once. While she laughs about it now, you can imagine how much this tidbit shocked fans when she revealed it in her memoir, My Voice.
The song, The 10 Commandments, was originally her song.
See how life comes full circle?
I hate you. I hate this already. I hate this interview already.
How many times did she smoke? Was she a
Yo, I asked all those questions.
And she did it with a pipe.
Stop it.
And she had plans to do it again on New Year's.
So wait a minute.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Wait. So this is what it want to read a book? It was a mistake. Oh God, that's gonna be the headline. I was a kid. I didn't know it wasn't a big epidemic yet. It wasn't known to everybody. So it was just another way to smoke or whatever that was in there.
The only reason we let you explain it is because we don't want to make it seem like you
like
really...
No, please, it was an accident.
As an employee at Hot 97, Angie experienced her fair share of office drama. A major incident involving the station involved her alleged feud with radio gossip queen Wendy Williams. Angie may not have revealed everything, but everyone knows that Wendy's tendency to cause trouble angered her. Their feuds behind the scenes became legendary in hip-hop radio. A terrifying event for Angie occurred in 2019 when she was in a major vehicle accident. She was severely injured, maybe paralyzed, with fractured vertebrae and a damaged lumbar spine.
Years ago, I had a car accident and I had some loss in my family, and it shifted how I look at life.
Angie's sheer willpower and tenacity were on full display during her tough recovery, demonstrating once again why she truly is a survivor.
Car crash, injury to your spine. What did that experience
Changed my life. Sitting in a bed for 2 months or whatever.
2 months.
Your body's down. You can't do what you want. And it forces you to you're thinking about life. You're thinking about, what do I really care about? And that's where the podcast came.
Although Angie keeps her private life under wraps, we do know that she is a mother to a kid named Nico from her relationship with Nokio the N-Tidy of Drew Hill. One of her best friends, Mary J. Blige, is also Nico's godmother. While her career was in shambles, Angie would later reveal she was able to stay grounded thanks to her son and her close group of friends.
Yeah, Linda Carter with the world premiere. Watch out now, clear, cause Hova got me open on the Belvedere.
Angie has always kept it real, even when the truth was a little messy. Take, for instance, her unexpected brush with rock bottom. In her recent book, she talked about how, at the height of her career, she was living the high life, hosting radio shows, working every club gig, and making bank. But behind the glitz and glamour, Angie was falling into a dangerous habit of financial irresponsibility. She'd spent cash like it was endless, barely checking her mail, ignoring bills, and feeling invincible. But reality hit hard when she was faced with an eviction notice and a mounting mountain of debt. It was one of those, what am I doing with my life moments.
Me already, I'm on the radio. I'm getting evicted from my apartments many years ago.
Wow. Do you remember how much your rent was?
Yeah, it was, I want to say it was $1,400 a month at that time. It was a lot, but it was a beautiful building. It was like my first luxury building. I was doing it. Clearly, I couldn't afford it. Clearly, I was not ready. I had a BMW. I was like,
you had a doorman, but no
I was
money.
young. I was just starting to get some bread, and I didn't know how to handle it, right? So I wasn't paying my rent.
Yeah.
I was doing, and it was like one of my first apartments, and my first nice apartment. Anyway, so I was getting evicted, and I called Mary, and Mary was in the studio, and she told me to come by the studio, and she took me to a check cashing place. She jumped in my friend's Honda. My friend had a Honda Accord. It was a beat up old Honda Accord. She was like, come pick me up at the studio. We went and picked her up in the Honda Accord. She got in the car. She said, "Go to the check cash spot." And she took us there. She gave me the money, and she got me out. And she got me back in my apartment.
The woman who had formerly controlled the New York City radio waves found herself suddenly bankrupt. Angie showed no signs of embarrassment, whereas the rest of us would have hidden. She chose to accept responsibility for her actions and start over. She was brutally honest about those hard times, like how she had trouble paying her rent and had to borrow money from friends like Mary J. Blige. When asked about how she became so close to Mary J. Blige that she found it easy to approach her for financial help, she revealed that they became close in the early 90s when both of their careers were booming. Mary was making waves in the music industry, and Angie was just starting to make her mark as a radio host. Despite Angie's embarrassment in approaching Mary for financial assistance, their bond remained strong.
By the way, Mary J. Blige, I mean, you're my friend, you're my sister. We don't ever talk about your accolades. But if we were just to like list your accolades, you've done not just music-wise, but like all types of movies, TV shows,
Philanthropy,
fragrance.
Mary J. Blige, who had supported Angie unconditionally, understood that their relationship would grow stronger as a result of Mary's vulnerability. Angie Martinez has always been a figure who stands her ground, even when it means butting heads with some of the biggest names in the industry. At one point, she openly admitted to hating Diddy, but it wasn't always about personal animosity. It was more about their professional differences. In her memoir, Angie dives into the tension that existed between them during their early days in the game. She didn't want to fake a relationship with someone she didn't click with, especially someone as larger than life as Diddy. She could feel the weight of his dominance in the industry, and while many other media personalities were lining up to kiss the ring, Angie refused to bend. She explains that Diddy's aggressive push for his own agenda often clashed with hers, creating some major tension.
I hated Diddy at one point.
You said
He wasn't my favorite person at one point.
You hated Diddy. Like,
As we broadcast on Revolt, we both have come a very long way. And, you know, it's just...
Because when we worked in the other building, it was like, don't F with Diddy, Ange, don't F with Diddy, so nobody else with Diddy. That's what it was.
That's a damn lie.
That's the
Plenty
truth.
of people messed with him. I just chose to not because we didn't have the best relationship and I didn't want to ever have to fake it. And we never talked about it. I guess we should probably talk about it after this, especially since this airs on Revolt. But, you know, we've come a long way, man. I tell a story about him being super supportive during the marathon and donating all that money. You know, he's who he is.
But what was it about him that you didn't like?
It was just moments.
But what people didn't know was that there was more to that story. Like the time Diddy, in his signature larger-than-life style, ran up on her, demanding her attention. It wasn't an out-of-the-blue encounter, but the whole thing left her shaking her head, as it wasn't the first time their paths had collided. Angie doesn't mince words when recounting that episode, making it clear that, while it could have been a headline moment, she didn't air it out for the drama's sake. She understood the power of keeping certain things private and was more focused on telling her story her way without all the extra. Angie's career, however, wasn't defined by her feuds. It was also marked by powerful moments with icons, like her first big interview with Tupac. That interview was one for the books.
Feel like you've done anything wrong?
I did a lot of it wrong. Probably half the stuff I did is wrong. You know what I mean? But I believe in my heart I'm doing it for the right reasons. It might turn out wrong, but only reason is I didn't have no training. I'm training myself. I'm doing this hands-on. You know what I mean? You go from up and down, went to jail. I learn from my mistakes and I move on.
Angie was still relatively new to the game, but Tupac's trust in her was evident. Their conversation was raw, authentic, and a pivotal moment for her. Angie wasn't afraid to ask the tough questions, and Tupac respected that. He opened up in ways that made listeners feel the intensity of his thoughts. That interview solidified Angie as someone who could hold her own in any room, and it cemented her as a go-to journalist for hard-hitting, authentic interviews.
Some of your Tupac interview in here as well.
Yeah.
That says a lot about your character because I know for me, if that was me and I went out there,
You would have totally aired it.
Immediately. Let's go. I'm like, let's go. You won't believe what Pac said.
Here's the thing. I love that about you. And I respect different people's perspectives on how they choose to use their mics, on how they choose, because it's true. It's important to have different voices. What I've learned is that I can't bend myself to do what other people do. Like if I spent my day trying to be Charlemagne, I would fail miserably. And it took me a while to really appreciate my own and want to make sure that I'm always true to it. The Pac story
talked about his relationship with Faith, and you talked about that story.
That was one of the milder stories.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, one of the reasons I dreaded ever putting stuff out was because of how it would affect outside people that weren't involved.
Angie would later reveal that she had always harbored secret intentions of interviewing Nipsey Hussle, but unfortunately, her wish never came to pass because he died before she could. She further revealed that his energy and vision spoke to her on a different level, and she wanted to give him a platform to speak his truth. Unfortunately, that never came to fruition, but Angie makes sure to pay her respects to Nipsey in her memoir, acknowledging his impact on the culture and the void his passing left behind.
You know what upsets me is that I've been trying to reach Pac's mom for the past couple of months to try to figure. I've been trying to get with her to try to talk to her about a couple of things, about what her thoughts were. I really wanted to be respectful about however it comes out. And also she has the original. I put a note in there that Pac had sent me, and his mom has the original. So I was trying to get in touch with her for both of those things, and unfortunately she passed. So I'm not sure where it's going to happen, but it just has to be respectful and done well at this point. It's been so long.
Now, you said you didn't want to put it out because you didn't want to cause problems, but then Pac and Big both got killed.
Yeah, but imagine they would have both got killed and I would have put it out.
Yeah.
I would have forever held that. Did I have something to do with that? Is it because of the, I would have always worried. I'm so grateful that I didn't, because honestly, I would have lived with that forever.
At present, she still discusses real life with famous people like Mary J. Blige, Lauren London, and Kim Kardashian on her podcast, IRL, in Real Life.
We rolling? Are we on? How's my hair? Is my hair cute?
How's mine, Nicole? Am I okay? Well, I'm just a mess.
She has become one of the most influential figures in hip-hop after hosting an ABC program honoring the genre's half-century anniversary. Angie's estimated net worth is $2 million, but her real value lies in her influence. She's the voice that shaped the narrative of hip-hop for nearly 3 decades, and she's still going strong. Whether you know her from Hot 97, her rap tracks, or her no-holds-barred interviews, Angie Martinez is a legend who'll be remembered for breaking barriers and keeping it real. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. Kindly give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more engaging videos like this. We can't wait to see you in the next video.